Ever wonder who truly pulls the strings of our world? Could it be possible that governments are merely puppets, controlled by invisible hands? Let's take a walk down a different path, a path that leads us away from the well-trodden notion that governments are the ones holding the reins. What if in reality they are merely players in a grander scheme, guided by the invisible hands of private industry and special interest groups? Imagine for a moment a world where the power lies not in the hands of presidents or prime ministers, but in the boardrooms of multinational corporations, companies like Blackrock, a titan in the field of asset management, with an influence that stretches across borders and industries. Consider the recent parting of ways between Tucker Carlson and Fox News. While the exact reasons remain shrouded in mystery, it's interesting to note that Carlson had been vocal in his criticism of Blackrock. He accused the company of promoting a woke agenda through ESG investing, a method of investing that takes into account environmental, social, and governance factors. This is a clear demonstration of the power and influence these corporations can wield, even over popular media figures. Or take a look at Brown Brothers Harriman, a Wall Street bank with a long and influential history in American capitalism. Its financial and political power, particularly in Latin America, is a testament to how private institutions can shape and steer global affairs. So, if governments aren't the ones truly in control, who is? The answer might surprise you. We're peeling back the curtain, revealing the powers that be. We're stepping off the beaten path, questioning the status quo, and exploring the power behind the curtain. The real puppet masters may not be who you think they are. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning of our journey into the truth. So, if governments aren't in control, who is? The answer might surprise you. Scene script. Ever heard of Blackrock? The giant asset manager might be more influential than you think. You see, Blackrock isn't just a simple investment firm, it's a behemoth, a titan of the financial world. It's a shapeshifter that has its tentacles in every pie, be it financial markets, policymaking, or even the media. It's not just about managing assets, it's about wielding influence. Blackrock, along with other organizations of its ilk, holds sway over the decisions that shape our world. The kind of sway that can make or break economies, dictate policies, and control narratives. Imagine an entity so powerful that it can nudge the direction of the world's economies. That's Blackrock for you. With an estimated $8 trillion under management, they have the financial clout to influence market trends and corporate decisions on a global scale. But it's not just about money, it's also about shaping the world according to their vision. These organizations have a say in policymaking too. They can influence regulations, legislative decisions, and even international treaties. And let's not forget the media. The narratives that we see, hear, and read are often influenced by these special interest groups. They can subtly steer public opinion, shape ideologies, and even determine the course of political discourse. They're the puppet masters, the invisible hands that guide the strings of our world. But it's not just about the power they wield, it's also about the secrecy with which they operate. These organizations often work behind the scenes, away from the public eye. They're like a shadow government, influencing decisions without any accountability or transparency. These groups aren't just influencing the world, they're shaping it. But to what end? If we don't question, if we don't demand transparency and accountability, we might just wake up one day to find our world molded according to their whims and fancies. Because remember, power without accountability is a dangerous thing, and it's high time we started asking, who's really pulling the strings? What if the biggest threat to humanity isn't from outer space, but from within our own planet? Picture this. A dark night sky suddenly illuminated by strange otherworldly lights. The news channels erupt with panic, claiming an invasion from extraterrestrial beings. But what if it's all a ruse, a grand illusion, a manufactured threat? Imagine the most advanced technology at the disposal of shadowy, powerful entities. Project Bluebeam, holographic technology, and even more secretive tech could be used to stage an elaborate spectacle. A fake invasion on a scale so massive that it would captivate the entire world. Now you might be wondering, why would anyone do such a thing? The answer is simple yet chilling: control. When people are terrified, they look for protection, they look for leaders to guide them through the chaos. And who better to step into that role than the very architects of this grand deception? This is not science fiction, my friends. It's a potential reality that we must be prepared for. The fear and panic such an event would generate could be the perfect smokescreen for the powers that be to tighten their grip on humanity. Consider Operation Northwoods, a proposed plan by the U.S. Department of Defense to stage false flag operations as a pretext for military intervention in Cuba. Although the plan was never carried out, it serves as a chilling reminder of the lengths to which those in power are willing to go to maintain control. And let's not forget the infamous War of the Worlds radio broadcast in 1938. An adaptation of H.G. Wells' novel, it caused widespread panic among listeners who believed they were hearing real-time coverage of an alien invasion. The fear and chaos that ensued from a simple radio drama gives us a glimpse into how a manufactured extraterrestrial threat could plunge our world into pandemonium. When we're afraid, we're easier to control. And what's more terrifying than an invasion from outer space? Artificial intelligence, a marvel of modern technology, or a threat to our very existence? Let's dive in. Artificial intelligence. It's everywhere. It's in your smartphone, your car, even your refrigerator. But what happens when this technology surpasses our human capabilities, when it's not just calculating faster or storing more information, but making decisions, perhaps even moral judgments? Imagine a world where your job, your livelihood, is replaced by an algorithm that doesn't need sleep, doesn't need breaks, and certainly doesn't need a paycheck. Millions could be left jobless, not because of a recession or a pandemic, but because of progress. And it doesn't stop at our jobs. What about our personal freedoms? Every click, every like, every share is data. Data that can be used to predict your behavior, to manipulate your decisions. With AI, this manipulation can happen on an unprecedented scale. You see, AI isn't just a tool, it's a weapon. A weapon that can be used to keep us in line, to keep us controlled. The powers that be don't need to monitor us themselves. They have machines for that. But who's pulling the strings? Who's programming these machines? The same people who've always been in control, the same people who want to keep us divided, to keep us subservient, the same people who want us to believe that we need them, that we can't survive without them. But here's the thing, AI is only as good as its programming. It can't question, it can't rebel, it can't demand freedom. It's a tool, a servant. But if we're not careful, we could become the servants. We could become the tools. In a world run by machines, who's really in control? Us or them? The answer to that question could determine the future of our society, of our species. If we're replaced by machines, who's really in control? We're more divided than ever. But is this division natural or carefully orchestrated? Let's explore the concept of cultural engineering. It's not a term you hear every day, but its effects are all around us. Cultural engineering is the manipulation of societal norms, beliefs, and values. It's a strategy often employed by those in power to maintain control. Consider the divisions we see today. Political affiliations, religious beliefs, social ideologies, these are all lines drawn in the sand separating us into distinct groups. But why? Well, it's the classic tactic of divide and conquer. When we're busy fighting amongst ourselves, we're less likely to unite and challenge the status quo. And who keeps this status quo? Well, it's not necessarily the faces you see on your TV screens or in your news feeds. Behind the scenes, special interest groups and private industries wield significant influence. They're the puppet masters, pulling the strings of societal discord to serve their own interests. Take, for instance, the rise of social media. These platforms have become breeding grounds for division, spreading misinformation and conspiracy theories that fuel societal rifts. But who controls these platforms? It's not just the tech giants themselves. Investors and shareholders like the ones from Blackrock have a say in the content that's being promoted or flagged. They can, in effect, shape the narrative and dictate public discourse. And let's not forget about the artificial intelligence systems that drive these platforms. These algorithms, designed to keep us engaged, often end up promoting radical and divisive content. Again, a tool for cultural engineering, ensuring we stay distracted and divided. But it's not all doom and gloom. Recognizing these strategies of cultural engineering is the first step towards dismantling them. We must rise above the manufactured divisions, question the narratives we're fed, and seek the truth. Because when we stand together, we're a force to be reckoned with. United we stand, divided we fall. But who benefits from our division? The answer is clear. It's the shadowy figures behind the curtain, the cultural engineers. But remember, knowledge is power, and now that we know, we can start to take back control. In a world shrouded in deception, truth becomes a revolutionary act. In the shadows of this grand illusion, there are those who dare to shine a light on the truth. They are whistleblowers and free thinkers, the unsung heroes of our time. Their role? To expose the lies and deceit woven by the puppeteers behind the scenes. Armed with courage and a relentless pursuit for truth, they risk everything to bring us the knowledge that has been concealed from us. Whistleblowers are the brave souls who, from within the belly of the beast, choose to speak out. They are the insiders who have seen the corruption firsthand, who have witnessed the clandestine machinations designed to keep us in the dark. They risk their livelihoods, their reputations, and often their very lives to bring us the truth. They are the ones who reveal the uncomfortable facts, the hidden agendas, the ulterior motives that are masked behind the facade of power. Then there are the free thinkers, those who dare to question, to challenge the status quo. They are the ones who refuse to be spoon-fed the narrative of the day, who choose to question rather than to blindly accept. They are the ones who ignite the spark of critical thinking, who inspire us to use our own intellect, our own common sense to see through the deception. In this world of manufactured threats and artificial intelligence overlords, it is this common sense and critical thinking that become our most potent weapons. They are the tools that allow us to see through the smoke and mirrors, to pierce the veil of illusion that has been cast over our reality. Remember, it is not the truth that is dangerous, but the lies that are told to conceal it. The truth may be uncomfortable, it may be inconvenient, it may shatter our preconceived notions and challenge our deeply held beliefs, but it is only through accepting the truth, no matter how harsh it may be, that we can hope to free ourselves from the chains of deception. The truth is out there, but are we brave enough to accept it? It's time to take back control, but where do we start? The first step is to recognize the power of unity. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, to feel like a single voice against a cacophony of orchestrated noise. But that's the trick they play. They want us to believe we're alone, but we're not. Every single one of us questioning, probing, refusing to accept the manufactured narratives, we're a force to be reckoned with. Let's stand together. Let's demand real freedom and truth. We can start by refusing to be manipulated, by questioning the status quo. We need to educate ourselves and others, to look beyond the surface and dig deeper. We need to build communities, online and offline, where open dialogue is welcomed, where differing opinions are not just tolerated but encouraged. We must foster a culture of critical thinking where we don't just blindly accept information but analyze it, scrutinize it. It's time to break the cycle of complacency and stand up for what we believe in. And remember, it's okay to ask questions, to challenge the norm. That's how progress is made. We should also harness the power of technology, not for spreading fear or misinformation, but for uniting people, for sharing knowledge and ideas. Remember, the same tools they use to divide us can be used to bring us together. Let's call for transparency from those in power. Let's demand accountability. We should strive for a society where truth isn't a commodity to be bartered, but a fundamental right. And lastly, let's not forget the power of our voices. They might try to silence us, to drown us out, but together, our voices can echo throughout the world. Let's use our voices to spread the truth, to inspire others, to call for change. So let's stand together, let's demand real freedom and truth. Because the truth is, we are not powerless, we are not alone, and we are not defeated. Our world might be controlled by invisible hands, but remember, the power ultimately lies with us, the people.